and just think outside the box and get the views.
You waste. Oscar De La Hoya wastes my time.
Boxing is the best, the purest, the most beautiful sport in the world when the best fight the best.
I mean, I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. Go get 60 and you got to close it out. That's fine.
Us fighters who get in the ring and risk our lives, you know, there's enough pie for everyone to pass around.
Oscar De La Hoya believes that when a boxer starts making 7- or 8-figure paydays late in his career, mistakes become more likely. He made this point while discussing Terence Crawford, who recently proved his greatness by beating Canelo Alvarez. De La Hoya says that while this huge victory is impressive, it also brings serious challenges ahead. He specifically warned about the risks Crawford faces if he fights Jermell Charlo, a matchup that is far tougher than it looks. Many people only criticize after the fact, but De La Hoya was one of the few who correctly predicted that Crawford would defeat Canelo.
Crawford versus Canelo, which I feel Crawford will win.
Yeah. Okay.
But it'll be a great fight.
Yeah.
Crawford versus Canelo, which I think Crawford will win.
Yeah.
But it will be an amazing fight.
Yeah.
In an interview with Ariel Helwani, Oscar De La Hoya said the outcome didn't surprise him at all. He not only predicted the winner, but also explained clearly why, days before the fight even began.
I've always been impressed with Terence. Yeah. I was not surprised at all. I mean, I called him, I don't know how many days before.
De La Hoya, who had backed Canelo for many years, said, "I know Canelo very well. I understand completely what he can handle and what he cannot.
I know Canelo. I promoted him. I know exactly what he cannot handle and what he can handle, where he looks great and where he doesn't." And Crawford was the perfect opponent or fighter to derail the train. That was the bottom line. You move on Canelo just a little bit, and he gets lost.
De La Hoya felt certain about his prediction when Canelo's momentum stalled because he knew exactly what would happen. He's now using that same understanding to advise Crawford on his next steps. It wasn't luck. He clearly saw the weaknesses. A smart and calculated fighter was able to exploit Canelo's flaws in a way no one else could. According to De La Hoya, the real problem wasn't Canelo's power or chin, it was his movement. He explained that Canelo struggles when opponents stay active, saying his feet tend to stay planted, making him an easy target for a precise boxer like Crawford.
God, it makes me horny.
Yeah, baby.
To tell you I told you so.
I told you.
I predicted the Canelo Crawford fight like a goddamn fortune teller.
You're the Oracle?
Canelo's feet were cemented on the canvas as he was hitting air. What the f was that? Props to Crawford.
Thank you.
He came up 3 weight classes and fought a beautiful fight.
Good job.
What a great performance.
Did you get what you was looking for?
Like taking candy from a baby.
Back Thursday, Oscar De La Hoya reiterated that Crawford fully outclassed Canelo, making him look out of his depth in the ring. He also responded to claims that Canelo lost due to age, noting that Crawford is actually older and proved that age was no excuse.
Played with Canelo, made him look silly. And before you start with your shit about Canelo being old, just know that Crawford is older.
I'm too old.
That's not an excuse here. Look, I promoted Canelo's entire career.
Put some respect on it.
And it was a huge fluff.
How do you like them apps?
The only real fighters he's faced were Mayweather, Bivol, and Crawford. And they all toyed with him.
This moment is important because it shows the clear difference between Crawford's skill and Canelo's specific weakness. Crawford won by taking advantage of that flaw, but his next opponent may not have the same weakness, which could make the fight far more challenging.
It'll silence a lot of doubters. Not all of them, but it'll silence a lot of doubters, and he can move on to the next challenge. And then that next challenge is possibly a top 10 in the world.
I think the smaller Charlo could be even more dangerous. The smaller Charlo has speed and fights harder, and he's in your face. It's a great payday for him, and he's obviously he took that into consideration when making the decision. It's going to be a tough task. I mean, 2 weight divisions is historical if he wins, and 2 weight divisions if he loses. He has the perfect excuse. I moved up 2 weight divisions.
It often comes down to figuring out the best way to beat a particular opponent, and there's no way around that. When Ariel Helwani asked De La Hoya if Crawford would retire as champion, he answered firmly no. His reasoning was simple. Once a fighter starts making 7 or 8-figure paydays, new temptations appear. According to De La Hoya, that's Crawford's biggest challenge right now. It isn't about punches, hooks, or weight divisions. It's about the money. He's seen it happen before. When boxers reach that level, they can lose some of the hunger that once drove them. The issue isn't skipping training. It's deciding when, who, and why to fight. Big money can make even the best fighters too comfortable, and that changes everything.
Afterwards, hinting at maybe retirement. Do you think he retires? No,
Not at all.
Now he's making the big bucks, right?
Well, now he has a taste of 7 figures, you know, 8 figures, whatever it might be. Once you get a taste of that, towards the end of your career, you're going to make a few mistakes.
The main advice here is to recognize when your focus shifts from chasing greatness to chasing money. That's when you become vulnerable. Terence Crawford is at that stage now. He's on top of the world, calls are coming non-stop, and every offer looks huge. It's easy to think nothing can go wrong. But that's exactly when, according to De La Hoya, danger appears. And that danger could be Jermell Charlo. De La Hoya warned that choosing Charlo might be a serious mistake. Why? Because Charlo is even more dangerous than Canelo. He doesn't get surprised easily, he's strong at 154 pounds, and he has unfinished business after his loss to Canelo. Charlo is the classic trap fight, the type of opponent a champion might overlook while chasing another big payday, only to end up in serious trouble.
What's up, guys? Canelo Charlo, super boring fight. I mean, he just showed up for a paycheck. Canelo, obviously, like I said, on quicksand, throwing bombs. He won easy. But anyway, look, if we want boxing to survive, if we want boxing to thrive, we need super fights. Like all the time. Fighters must fight each other. We have to come together. Promoters, Eddie Hearn, Al Heyman, Bob Arum, whoever's out there, let's come together. I'm calling you out. Let's come together. Let's meet the power of the minds and come up with something, because boxing can die. I'm calling you all out. Let's do this.
Crawford's challenge isn't just dealing with Charlo's skill. He also has to fight the temptation to take things lightly after such an easy last win. Another concern is Charlo's experience with power. He's already felt what it's like to face a true super middleweight. After losing to Canelo, Charlo was honest about the experience, admitting that Canelo is a beast who dominates opponents. He also said part of the difficulty came from it being his first fight in that weight class, and that he wished he had added more weight for it.
Love boxing, so I'm not going nowhere, and just jump right into it. And Canelo's a motherfucking beast. You know what I'm saying? He'll ox. Maybe I felt that more because of the fact that this is my first time at that weight division. I wish I could have gained a little bit more weight in between from the weigh-in to that time, but I can't control my body, and I can't, but like God had this already written, and I'm glad that I was in there with to put on the performance for Showtime pay-per-view.
In your perspective, why don't you think he could have stopped Charlo?
No, he could have stopped Charlo. He should have. I mean, first of all, you had a fighter who was there just for the payday, literally. I mean, he's in the biggest stage of his life. Go out there and take some risks. Fight hard. People paid their money. People buy it on pay-per-view. Fight hard. Because when you fight hard, you don't lose anything. When it's a great fight, there's no loser.
Charlo's biggest edge now comes from the experience he gained facing real power at 168 pounds. He knows exactly what that kind of strength feels like. Crawford, who started his career at just 135 pounds, handled Canelo, but Charlo has now felt that level of force firsthand. When Charlo talked about Canelo's power, it was a warning to Crawford. He hasn't yet learned how to handle that strength. That fight taught Charlo valuable lessons and made him even more dangerous in future bouts. De La Hoya, however, was frustrated about the Canelo-Charlo matchup, saying Charlo only took the fight for the payday and wasn't truly willing to take real risks.
Despite what anybody say, that's a 50-50 fight. Canelo got good inside game, but he gonna have to he gonna have to get past Charlo long arms. And Charlo, he can use his reach good. He's strong. He got a good jab. It's a toss up with me.
That's a good one. Charlo got that punching power. I'm just gonna say that.
I think Charlo's gonna take it. The reason why I say that is because he's just on another.
But that very same criticism is what makes Charlo so dangerous now. He's already taken the big payday and felt the regret of a flat performance. The Charlo who faces Crawford won't be the same fighter who fought Canelo. This time he'll be out to redeem himself with nothing to lose and everything to prove. That desperate, fearless version of Charlo is the one Crawford should watch out for. Crawford beat Canelo by exploiting a predictable opponent, but Charlo, fighting for his pride and career, is hungry and unpredictable. The lesson is simple. Never underestimate a fighter who has been embarrassed in public and learn from it.
Level. So I think it's a great fight. I just think that the press conferences were freaking lame.
Why?
Just because it was all staged. I mean, come on, guys. Look, if you want to see Canelo pissed off, take a look at my press conference. With Munguia and Canelo. That's Canelo pissed off.
De La Hoya waste my time with this question.
Yeah, we saw Oscar De La Hoya trying to say that the fight was going to take place maybe in the daytime.
Yeah, this is what I want from you, to say his name. I decide with Dana White to have a breakfast in MGM at 10 a.m. inshallah. Then we will go to the arena to have the fights quick, and after that we will go dinner to Carbon, and in the night we will watch Conjuring because it will launch in September. You waste, Oscar De La Hoya waste my time with this question. Of course, this is in the peak. This is the boxing, the sport #1 in the world. This is Canelo and Crawford.
There's another story going around online, especially on channels like Boxing Ego, claiming that Crawford's record is full of damaged opponents. People point to Ricky Burns, who wasn't top tier, 5 feet 5 inches Gamboa moving up in weight, Jose Benitez with a leg injury, Kell Brook with shattered eye sockets, and Ennis Spence still recovering from a car crash and eye surgery. Some even say Canelo was past his prime and slowing down. If you believe that, then Charlo, healthy, strong, and fully recovered, could be one of the first truly elite, fully fit opponents Crawford has faced. But let's be clear, that damaged goods idea is wrong. Crawford's greatest weapon isn't power or speed, it's his fight IQ. Fans on Reddit have noted that Canelo struggles only against smart fighters like Mayweather, Bivol, and now Crawford. That's the real story. Crawford wins by breaking opponents down mentally, not just physically. He studies them, exposes their weaknesses, and dismantles them piece by piece. The real question isn't who he's fought, but whether his sharp mind can once again beat someone naturally bigger, stronger, and hungrier. Even Oscar admitted that the Canelo-Charlo fight was boring, and honestly, he wasn't wrong. They barely threw any meaningful punches that night.
You posted on social media the other day, you're kind of fired up about the Canelo fight. Why didn't you like that fight?
Because it was boring.
What?
I mean, when a fighter throws one punch, when two fighters throw one punch in one round, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, I'm a fighter who has been in there in the line of fire, throwing 100 punches around. Like, the fans want to be entertained. So that was my critique, is coming from a fighter, coming from a world champion. Yeah, I was bored.
Hearn made his opinion clear early, saying the undercard for Canelo versus Crawford was a total waste of money for the Turkish investors and that the matchmakers responsible should be fired.
I just look, the fact that a new entity is coming into boxing and already wants to change a bill that has been in place for decades that protects fighters, to me, is shady. That's the bottom line. Think about it. It's shady. The first thing you want to do is change the law, change the rule, the Muhammad Ali Act, which protects the fighters. I instantly think about what they did with the UFC. I instantly think about the UFC signing hundreds, if not thousands of fighters and they don't even see the light of day. There's total transparency with the bill. You're obligated as a promoter to disclose, everything that might be in the pot. The fighters call it the pot. And you're obligated to disclose, the financial status of your event, of the fighter's event. If you're a main event fighter, a championship fighter, you have every right to look at the books. And with this amendment, they're gonna try and eliminate that.
Rivalries and conflicts between promoters often result in weak undercards, which only slow the sport down. De La Hoya also shared his disappointment about Showtime leaving boxing, calling it a loss for the sport, but noting it could create room for new opportunities.
I thought, I was proud that boxing was on Netflix, just being a purist of the sport. You feel proud. I was not happy with the matchups. I mean, what I saw the week of the Canelo fight, they tried doing some contender boxing stuff. You're having precious contenders, right? Who I know can become world champions 3, 4, 5 years down the road. They're getting eliminated and beat. And you're never going to hear from them again. That's not fair to the fighter. Now, if that's fair business to them, more power to them. Let them build whatever league they're trying to build. It's okay. Boxing here is safe with me and Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, the serious guys in the sport. The guys who respect the history and the honor that comes with it. You have a global platform, Netflix, Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Every fight that a new audience is going to watch should have been a known name, should have been champion versus champion. The matchup should have been better. I thought it was a slow night. Completely a slow night. It was still great for boxing because it's out there and people are watching all over the world, but it left a little bad taste in my mouth.
With Showtime gone and promoters tied up in lawsuits, boxing feels like it has no clear leadership at the moment.
You met with Bob Arum yesterday. Is there anything you could share about that meeting, what you guys have going during the press conference?
Yeah, there's really no details I can mention, but let's just say that some really big fights are going to happen very soon. And that's why I called out all promoters like Eddie Hearn, like Al Heyman, who's probably going to be impossible to talk to because nobody ever sees him. But we want to bring promoters together to work together and just create the biggest fights possible for the fans. That's all I want to do, and that's what boxing deserves.
For a fighter like Crawford, this chaos threatens his 8-figure paydays. He could end up taking a fight like Charlo for the money instead of waiting for the ideal matchup. The turmoil outside the ring is starting to interfere with his career.
I just think that without that rule there, without that clause there, or wiping out the Muhammad Ali Act, the fighter is vulnerable. The fans are not going to watch real boxing. And real boxing is the best talent that's developed fighting the very best talent. They're never going to see that because they're going to eliminate each other in their first fight, second fight. And guess what? If you don't win the second fight, you're going to be shelved, just like the UFC does with their fighters.
Is Charlo really the right opponent? Oscar doesn't think so. He said you have to watch out for the sharks circling beneath Crawford. Time is now his biggest enemy. Fighters like Charlo and Virgil Ortiz are serious threats he can't overlook. At 38, Crawford doesn't have much time before the younger, hungrier generation moves in.
His next move, right? What would you like his next move to be?
I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. Go get 60, you got to close it off. That's fine.
Yeah. Would you like to see a rematch with Canelo?
Not really.
Okay. What about Canelo, I guess? What would you like to see in the future
I don't know. Canelo can do anything he wants to. He's done so much already. There's really not much left for him to do. So it's really I'm not really. I mean, I think Canelo probably could either take the rematch or coach door because Canelo's done way more than that.
La Hoya believes Crawford has to face them if he truly wants to be remembered as one of the all-time greats, even if it means putting his undefeated record on the line. The real question is whether Crawford is ready to risk everything he's built to prove his greatness.